Chris Bridges is the author of several books on credit management. Credit card debt is based on average daily balances, right? So if you pay it off earlier in the reporting cycle or that credit card cycle, then you're going to cut out some of that.
That makes me so happy.
I would recommend that everyone is monitoring their credit report. We're entitled to a free credit report once a year, but that's 12 months that you could have had something negative sitting out there, right? So if you are signed up with one of the consumer monitoring services, at least you'll be notified sooner that there's something negative. You've got to check your account more regularly than once a month. It used to be that you could check do your reconciliation once a month. Now you should probably want to check it on a regular basis, every other day or so, just to make sure that there have been no breaches. If there are things that are derogatory on your credit report, address them today.
All right. I am back. And look, every time I've watched that trailer of myself, I'm like, who am I going to be today? Which hair am I going to have today?
I'm impressed. They're going, wow, really?
And what's so interesting, that's really over a course of about a couple of years. It's not even like it's like 10 years and I've made this major transition. But yeah, so now it's kind of the natural thing. And so, we'll see what I look like later.
Nice to see your hair changing over the years and things. Oh, that's the important piece, right?
Absolutely. Well, welcome, Tanya. Welcome so much. I'm going to give a little introduction about you, but I want to just do some housekeeping things right now. So for those of you who are watching the broadcast, remember we're actually streaming from a couple of different sources. So if you're watching us live, you might be watching on Blab. So welcome. And if you are, make sure that you subscribe to the broadcast so you can continue to see what we're doing and follow our shows. If you're watching from the website, livingontop.info, there's a live stream going on right now on the broadcast page. So we thank you so much. And make sure that, though, at some point you jump on Blab, because we want to increase our Blab followers. So for those of you, a little history, we brought this onto the online platform a couple of weeks ago. And prior to that, we were in live studio. Well, I love the idea of doing this broadcast from anywhere around the world and not have to be in the studio. But if you go to the website, livingontop.info, you'll see all of the replays. You can register right there and get access to all of our replays. We've done this for over a year, this broadcast. And just simply register as a silver member. It's free. We love giving back. So we want you to just get access to the information. Great information. And so we continue to put up our broadcasts as well. And this one will be up there at today, a little bit later today. So again, just continue to follow. My name is Chris Bridges. If you haven't picked that up, I know I look a little different maybe, but I am Chris Bridges and I am your honored host of this broadcast, Living on Top with Chris Bridges. Now, I'm a certified credit expert, a financial consultant, but it doesn't mean that every time I get in on the air on this broadcast, we talk about finances. And so I'm really all about bringing to you information and guests and just some things that can help you to live your very best life. And I was at a community fair, community event at a local church, and I sat right next to this table with from the wonderful ladies at the Bethany Christian Services, and I said, I want to know more about you guys and what you're doing in the community, and I want to introduce you to my audience. So that's how we came up today, and that's why you see this beautiful woman here, Miss Tanya Brown. But let me tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to talk about her organization and what they're doing. So Tanya Brown, she's executive director, Maryland and DC Regional Director, Northeast Region of Bethany Christian Services. Now, she's a mother of 2 beautiful boys and a devoted wife to a wonderful husband. She has been working with children for 25 years, from summer camps to group homes to adoption and foster care. Boy, you've got a warm heart. We already can tell that from your past. Tanya's career has been a dedication of working to provide children with a safe place to call home. Now, she believes God is directing her path and brought her to Bethany. Tanya found a home where she can live out her faith and do God's work of helping families and children in the community and abroad. And as a licensed clinical social worker and prayer warrior, we're about to have church, y'all. Tanya earned her BS from Mount St. Mary's University and her MSW from Howard University in Washington, D.C. Now, this is her scripture. Pure and undefiled religion is this, to care for the widows and orphans in their distress. And that's coming from James 1, verse 27. Tanya Brown, welcome to Living on Top with Chris Bridges. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me, Chris. I love the opportunity to be able to see what others are doing, and wow, are you doing it? So I am very impressed.
Well, I'm still having fun. I got to tell you, I'm having fun. We were actually transitioning from one studio in DC to a studio over the National Harbor. And I still may find myself there, but I'm kind of having fun being online because I like the idea, like I have to travel next week. And I like the idea that we can reach so many people from being online. Right. A lot of my guests can jump on from wherever we are. I'm just trying to embrace this social media thing, embrace the social media thing.
I hear you. I'm not the social media one, but I hear you. I understand that I have to change with the times and the technology, and it's hard to shift, but I definitely hear you on that.
I was listening on the radio yesterday. They were talking about, when you say that everyone is on, because now Blab is a new platform. Everyone knows about Facebook. Everyone knows about, LinkedIn and Twitter and hey, Gail, thanks a lot for shout out. By the way, Todd, if you see those, that's what's going on is our viewers are actually clapping up for us. So that's what that is. They're just clapping up for us. And if we say something nice, it's like sharing love. It's like sharing love. So that's,
I love it.
Yeah, that's Gail Turner Brown. So everybody do me a favor. This is going to be a powerful discussion today. And we're really about, like Tanya said in her bio, about God's work. And so I'm just really honored to bring her here and to use this platform. Do me a favor, though. I need you to help us with social media. You can see over here on the left that you can tell a little bird. That means go tweet it out. So I know you've got a lot of followers. Do me a favor, go tweet out so people will know what we're going to be talking about and get this information. And she's got a special event coming up next month. We want to make sure you know all about it. I can't even believe that it's free, but I can't even believe that. But we're going to tell you all about it. So make sure that you do me a favor, just share that we're on live right now on social media. Tweet it out, go on Facebook, whatever you got to do, but bring people back to this broadcast or go to, again, livingontop.info. Gail, I know that you're on and you know what I'm going to ask you to do because I always do. Do me a favor, if we say something, do me a favor, put it in the feed for me or put it out on social media. I promise you the check's going to be in the mail. This is
pay you later.
Yeah, this is my support system. She's always making sure that she's out there. See, she already told me a message. You got it. She's always out there for me. I so much support. I told her I'm gonna have to hire her when I do these broadcasts, but until the money comes, we're gonna do it this way. Well, Tanya, let's just jump right in. I really wanted you to, if you could, read your bio. I love the idea that you feel like you found your home. You found your place where you can bridge that, what God has given you in your ministry to actually helping families outside of, you and yours. Tell us, how long have you been there at Bethany?
Well, I've actually been here for coming on 5 years now. And I truly believe that I did not find Bethany. I believe that Bethany found me. It's one of those things that you don't even know you're missing something until you have it. And that was that feeling. I've always worked with children. My mother says that I wanted to work with kids when I was a child. It was either going to be a nurse or a social worker. And since I didn't like the sight of blood, she knew it was going to be social workers. So I've always worked with kids. And, some people like to say that they found their calling later in life. I actually believe that God put me on this path before I even knew it. But you didn't know what you were missing. That spiritual walk and your passion of doing the work that God has called you to do, being able to have that in the same place is amazing. And you can't beat that. No one else can give you that, because I walk my spiritual journey every day, but I also walk that passion of being able to help children and be able to create forever families and be able to answer that call every day too. So it's a win-win, and you can't lose when you have a win-win,
No,
right?
not at all. And especially when, like you said in your bio, learning more about you when you're doing God's work. To be able to bring it. I had lunch yesterday with a friend of mine who's recently been ordained. If you're a believer, you're always in ministry, but recently been was ordained, and there was a question of how can I do that and do my business? And I said, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
You're the same person. So you're bridging that gap between the business side of your life and the ministry side. You just do you just bring it together. So yeah, to be able to wake up and be able to do that and be the perfect 100% you that you can be is amazing, is absolutely amazing. Yes. Tell us a little bit about Bethany. I figured I could read it, but you could tell us more about what exactly and who is Bethany Christian Services?
I tell you, I could talk on Bethany forever. I tell everyone that I swear I think I bleed Bethany. I mean, it's just when you find something that aligns who you are and what your purpose is, it just comes naturally. Bethany Christian Services is all about the mission and the vision of being able to provide Christ's love for forever families and for children that deserve a forever family. And there's nothing out there like that. To be able to be there for children that are in need, to stand in the gap and be a voice for those who don't have a voice. And we're not even just talking about children. We're talking about moms and dads who are dealing with unplanned pregnancies. We're talking about families that are dealing with infertility and feeling like they're less of something just because they cannot give birth to a child. We're talking about being able to remind them that they're still God's children, and there is a mission and a vision and a purpose for all things. God doesn't make any mistakes. And so we want to be able to educate. And I love the fact that your format is all about, and I saw the reel of you in the beginning, and you talk about, even in those little clips, you talk about educating. Educating, and definitely, yes, clap it up, educating, because definitely if you do not know what your options are, then you definitely are in the dark, and you're making decisions not based on all the avenues that are really out there. And that goes for credit, that goes for finances, that goes for house hunting, that goes for finding a spouse, that goes for raising children. Amen. And that goes for everything, including making a decision that is a life-altering decision, but ensuring that you have all the facts and not just some blurb on a commercial about some quick fix or some short term that's not going to tell you what the long-term effect really is. That's what Bethany is about. We're not an adoption agency. We're a Christian ministry that just happens to also do adoptions. And so people really try to align Bethany with just adoption, and we're so much more than that. We provide diverse services through pregnancy counseling, where we are actually there for our client. They are our number one responsibility. We don't cross over. We do adoptions for domestic here in the United States. We also do international adoptions. We're actually in 15 countries on the ground, boots on the ground, to provide services for our families. We also do foster care adoption, which is a big love of my heart, because older children deserve a forever family, just like a child that's an infant. They deserve a forever family. They deserve somewhere to call home. They deserve somewhere to go for Christmas. They deserve some mom to call and say, hey, I met this guy and I really like him. Tell me, what should I be walking into? They deserve that. And just because they're 16 or they're 15 or they have a sibling group or they are a minority does not mean that they don't deserve a forever family. And that's what Bethany walks into. We also push into the tension of, I know you've heard of the whole immigrant population and the refugees coming across the borders. We actually provide services for those families as well. They're called unaccompanied minors. And we do that because guess what? I don't run a political game. I'm not running for Senate. I'm not running for the president of the United States. All I care about is that these kids are here and their families are here, and we should be providing a service because they're children. And the Bible does not say just serve those that have citizenship,
Right.
or just serve those that have papers. That's not what the Bible says. So I love the idea that Bethany sees a need and fills a need, and that is our purpose. But we do it from a not-for-profit, so we're not in it for any money. It is a ministry and a business, and those two together is phenomenal when God is overseeing that. That's what we do.
Yeah, I could not have read that online. There's no way I could have even touched the surface. And I got to tell you, I was, listening just even, and it didn't dawn on me, my own story, when I sat next to the ladies from your organization. And I said, I want to, my husband and I, we've been married for 16 years. And when we got married, we had the perfect Brady Bunch. He had 2 sons. I had 2 sons from previous marriages. And then one day, Tanya, because my children are ages from 29 to 9. So, there's a story around my 9-year-old. So one day my husband decided that we should have a baby. Now, we already had, like I said, I would be done right now, but I'm a redo.
Right.
So, Tanya, in that experience, I had to make a decision, or we made a decision rather, because I had consciously and voluntarily tied my tubes when I was married before and I had my children. That was a decision I made. Didn't think that I'd be married, happily ever after. And it didn't happen. So we made a decision to actually do fertility. And that forever has changed my thought about the whole birth process. Because even though it was a voluntary choice for me to be infertile, I still had to go through. So I had to go through not only the physical of getting, pregnant, but the mental of getting pregnant, because we had to do it twice. It didn't work the first time. And so I know what it's like, to have to go through that. You build yourself up again, physically and mentally. And it was very disappointing the first time. Thank God that it did take the second, and I've got this amazing child. Everyone who follows me knows Taylor, and she's my gift. But I tell you, I had to go through. So the idea that an organization like yours is there even for women like me who went through that process, maybe had a successful outcome, or maybe didn't. That there is a resource and someone there to encourage you and be in your corner, and if nothing else, still help you to get your gift, because your gift can come from God in different ways, right?
Absolutely,
different ways.
Absolutely.
But
and God has this tendency to do that, which is, it's not what you believe is for you, it's what God believes is for you and what he has ordained for you. And it may come in a different package. It may come in a different culture. It may come in a different race. It may come with siblings. It may come when you didn't want it, but it came on time.
Yeah.
That is what God has a tendency to do.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, we've already got a question.
I see.
Yeah, you see the question already. And yes, Gail, Taylor is my gift. As a matter of fact, her middle name is Shay, and that is the name for Shay is gift from God. So yes, she is my gift. I'll tell you all about the rest of the story, but that's enough right now. But I tell you, that's why every day when I look at her when she's taking me on a 10, I'll say, "You are so special." And she doesn't really understand, you are.
Not yet. She will.
She understands it, but sometimes I'm being funny, for real. You are special, what I had to do. So Tanya, tell me, we've already got a question out there. How can someone get connected and support the mission?
Well, there's several different ways. And I love the questions on the side, the statement about people are wanting that quick fix. Definitely, if you really think about the definition of abortion and adoption, we actually have cards that have the pros and cons for abortion and pros and cons of adoption, as well as the myths of both. And so when I say quick fix, what women don't always educate themselves with is the long-term effect of abortion. And we're not saying that that's not a choice for a woman. We're saying we want you to be educated about that, because a lot of places are not really educating women. I have to tell you, we have had so many clients, Chris, that actually went through the abortion process and it didn't take, and they thought it did.
Wow.
And 37 weeks later, they thought they had a stomach virus and they're in the hospital giving birth. I am telling you, factual, just to this year alone, I can tell you, because education, and they've gone back for the follow-up appointments, and the doctor says you're all clear, everything is taken care of. No one's followed up with them for therapy. No one's followed up with them with that loss and grief, because it's still a loss and grief, whether it's adoption or abortion. It's still a loss and grief, and we accept that. So we really want to continue to do that. Chris, can you still hear me? I lost your picture.
Oh, I can hear you fine. You lost my picture?
Okay.
Maybe hit,
yes,
maybe hit replay.
but I'll keep going.
Okay. I can see you fine.
So, okay. So what happens with that is we really want to educate. And so definitely that's one piece that I want to make sure that I put out there. And I love that question about that. Again, no judgment here. That's the great thing about Bethany Christian Services, because we've also had women who have gone the path of adoption, and it turns out that they maybe never healed from it, never found peace with it. And so you'll see ads on, and like you said, internet is just the next thing. And so you'll see people who are out there who will, you know, put posts up there and say, oh, well, someone held a gun to my head and made me sign. That's the perception, because they haven't been able to really deal with the decision that was made. They made, not for them, but they made. So we acknowledge that, because we all know that somebody's got to be the bad guy. And guess what? Bethany Christian Services is okay with being that, because again, we need to be that for our client to be able to start to move into peace. So definitely there are so many different ways that people can assist. We're always looking for people to come on board as board members. It's a voluntary term that you would do working with us here in Bethany, Maryland, to be able to see a need and feel a need, be able to get the word out there. Just like this post right here, we're looking for individuals that just have a passion for wanting to be a part of this journey. And that's what I like to say to individuals is, when you come into Bethany, you're a part of our family. Whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a family, whether you're a client, whether you're the baby, whether you're a board member, you're family, and you're family for life. And so we're looking for individuals not to just do a one-stop shop type of thing where you just come in, you write a check, and you move on. We're looking for long-lasting relationships. We're looking for people to come along this journey. So we're always looking for board members. We're always looking for volunteers to help out in the office, because you have to remember we're a not-for-profit agency, so we always can need a little help in the office. But let me just give a caveat. We're not a pregnancy clinic, so if your want is to come and hold babies, we're not the office for that, because again, we are a business and we are honoring confidentiality. So we definitely want to make sure that we put that out there.
And you know, that's interesting.
You have to be a part of the Christian faith. I see the question. I'm getting the hang of this thing.
I was going to say, what is interesting is that you have to say that part about, you know, not a pregnancy center. And I know that for some people who are watching, you know, this might be a controversial discussion, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I knew that before I invited you to come on. I think it's a much needed discussion, and it goes back to even the example you gave about, you know, whether it's a young person or an older person. I've actually heard of stories of that too, where people did not even know they were pregnant until they went into the hospital for a stomach ache, and you come home with a baby. That
happens.
Could be devastating for someone. I mean, I knew from day one, from every shot, every medicine, you know, everything I had to do for 10 months, in my case, because I wound up having a blood clot. But I knew every day, every hour, what I was going through. So when I brought her here, I knew that. I could not imagine, and then giving birth to 2 children earlier in life, still not even thinking about that. They just kind of popped out. But, you know, not even imagining not having somebody to go. I mean, that is devastating. So this is a conversation we've got to talk about, because there's a young woman out there that maybe watching this broadcast, it might happen to someone you know. You know, we always have to be mindful that everything that we partake in, any knowledge we get or anything we see or we read, it may not be for us. It may be for someone else. And so
Right.
I
That's the most important.
I wanted to have this discussion because it might be, for someone else that needs you to say, hey, there is help out there. At least go talk to them, and not be
That's all.
and not be closed-minded.
Educate. Right. And yeah, it's very, very hard for people to walk a mile in the shoes of a mother or even a father who is young, or I'm going to keep it as real as possible. Here in the state of Maryland, I can attest to, it's not just the myth of some teenagers who have made some error in judgment and end up pregnant. I am talking about couples. I'm talking about married couples who already have children. And with the social economical way that we have been ebb and flowing for the past couple of years, having another child in the home means a deficit for the other children and for the family. And so they have to make a hard decision. And it is not for us to judge them. It is not for society to judge them, because my answer to that is they could have made a choice that child did not have a life. They could have made a choice to drop that child off on the doorstep somewhere or in a garbage can somewhere. Because I've worked in social services. I did child protective services for years in the state of Virginia. And I wish some of those parents would have made a choice of adoption versus abusing their children or harming their kids, even not maliciously, but still harming their kids and themselves in the process. So if we can put out other options and other avenues, then definitely we should be. I'm not even saying adoption is for every couple that comes through our door. What I'm saying is it's an education of being able to see what your choices really are and be able to have someone that walks alongside you through this process. Whether you choose to parent, we're still there. We're coming up with resources. We're helping you come up with a parenting plan. And see, people don't think that. They think you're an adoption agency and you just want babies and then you go on about your business. That's not what we do. We walk this path with them from the time they call us to the time they don't want to talk to us anymore. And we walk this journey with them. What's your parenting plan? What's your financial plan to be able to care for your child? If your family is saying, yes, we're going to be there, our question is, if your family stepped out the picture tomorrow, how would you care for your child? Because we all know that with family, things happen.
That's the reality.
They have lives.
Yeah.
Wrenches are thrown, financial things happen. We all hit the bottom sometimes. And although your heart is saying you want to be there for this cousin or a niece or even your daughter, sometimes illness happens and things like that. So we try to paint a picture for our individual to say, don't just make this choice because your family is saying they're going to jump in and help, which is awesome. Make this choice because your heart is telling you, one, this is what you need to do for you and your child, and two, that you really do feel like you will have the means to be able to execute it. And if you don't, we're still going to be here. No matter how old the child is, you can still call us. We can still give you resources, and we can still walk this path with you. And also, those individuals that do place for adoption, we don't just go to the hospital, carry a baby out the door, and then we leave. My pregnancy counselor is working with that client to come up with a plan for them. What is your plan? You want to go back to school? Do you want to get a new job? Are you looking to move? What is your plan? Are you going to get out of this domestic violence situation? How can we help you? We are working with them because they're our clients. That is the most important thing that I want to make sure I put out there, is that we're not just some adoption agency that collects babies. That's not what we do. And that's just some myth that's out there in the world. And we're going to dispel that. Okay. So this is all about being able to help our community. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? This is the future. These young women and men are our future. These babies are our future. They're going to be caring for us when we're old and gray and we can't walk and we can't move. So we need to be able to give them exactly what they need when they need it so that they can make good choices for their lives.
Absolutely. And, Tanya, we often talk about, it's like home buying. When you buy a house, most likely you're going to either heard of or attend a home buying seminar, right? At some point, or you may have to because you want a particular down payment.
Right.
But to become a parent, There is no blue book. There is no pre-licensed courses you have to go through. You know,
No.
you just have a baby. And I don't think we have to
That's
talk about how that happens. We all know how that happens. But you just get pregnant and you become a parent. And there's nothing that says, here's how you do it and here's how you don't do it. You know, and so oftentimes when we hear about these horrific stories, you know, we do judge. We say, how could you ever do that? But you don't,
Right.
You're not walking in someone else's shoes and you're not realizing, you know, a lot of maybe the mental or other things. So, you know, what do you guys see? I mean, do you see that that's what's happening? Unfortunately, a lot of people, I mean, you don't know how to get, you know, how do you prepare someone to be a great parent or the best parent that they can be? How do you do that?
That is like the question of the year, which is how do you do that? And I tell a lot of our families that come in the door, specifically, like you just stated, families come to us in information meetings. We hold an information meeting every month.
Oh, wow.
Once a month for every one of our programs. And the first thing that I like to have my workers make sure that they tell our families is, this should not be your only information meeting. Try out other agencies, because you need to ensure that the match is on your side as well as the agency side, because this is someone that's going to get all in your business. Let's be really clear about that. They want to know everything, not because we really want to know it or we're going to lose sleep over wanting to know the skeletons in your closet, but because I believe, Bethany, we vet you like you're the president of the United States. And why shouldn't we? We are going to be entrusting a baby in your care and putting our license and our name on your home study. So yes, we want to know everything. But here's the thing. You can't say anything that's going to surprise me. I've been doing this for over 25 years. Trust me, I have heard it all. So you're not going to surprise me with any backdoor stuff. You gambled, you had some pornography things, you had an affair, you have a child out of wedlock. There's nothing that you're going to say, I promise, that's going to surprise me. None of that.
That's a good point, Tanya. So someone doesn't have to be perfect to act
No.
the child?
Actually, here's the thing. For example, our foster care adoption, and I'm sure you've heard commercials on the radio. I love some of the commercials on the radio from some of the agencies, whereas you don't have to know how to make a grilled cheese sandwich to be a good foster parent for a child. You don't really need to know what cheeses to buy. What you need to know is that you have a heart to love on a child. And guess what? They'll forgive the little idiosyncrasies that you can and cannot do, because they're not perfect. And they're not looking for perfection. They're looking for love. They're looking for someone to accept them for who they are and for the things that come with them. And I always have this, I had this misnomer that I actually say. A lot of people, you know, there's some debate over, oh, is that something to say or not to say? But hey, you know, I'm Tanya. Someone can't tell me what to say. So I say this. I believe that a lot of our foster children come with baggage. They're not baggage, but they come with baggage. It's not theirs to create, but it was given to them by their situation. And our job as adults is to help them unpack that baggage, shelf some things that need to be shelved, throw away some things that need to be thrown away, and understand some things that is a part of who they are. So I truly believe in the foster care adoption, because these children deserve that, not to sit in some foster care home forever or have somewhere that they bounce from home to home to home. I mean, we had things like children were packing their things in garbage bags when I was in child welfare. That was something that was so appalling to me that I had to start a suitcase drive just to ensure that children knew that they were valued by just a suitcase. Wow. Can you imagine packing your house up in garbage bags and moving from one house to another? So imagine what a child's view of their self-worth is if you give them a garbage bag and hope that they got everything in there, first of all, to shift to somewhere else that they don't know where they're going. So those are some of the things that we empower our families with so that they can be better parents. Now, a perfect parent, I'm sorry, I'm not that. I don't know. Jesus, God is a perfect parent. Okay. So That's about all. And if you think anybody out there who thinks that they're at the same level of God, then we need to have a different conversation. But I'm not a perfect parent. I actually wish somebody would have put me in 27, 30 hours worth of training before I had my 2 boys, because God knows that little one, ooh, Jesus. And I pray on him on a regular basis.
treat it like CE courses where you can come back and get continued education. You know, I think then
yes, like grown up. I need to
am I on the right track? Hey, listen, I know that we've got some folks that are joining us today, just to make sure you know who you're watching. My name is Chris Bridges. I'm the host here of Living on Top with Chris Bridges, and I'm speaking with the executive director of the Maryland office of Bethany Christian Services, Ms. Tanya Brown, and we're having just a wonderful, engaging discussion about their services. And just wanted to kind of make sure you know who we are and who we are on the Blab today. Also, if you've just joined us here at Blab, jump on over at some point. You don't have to go there now, but on my website, livingontop.info, and you'll see it right on the bottom of my picture, livingontop.info. That'll take you over to the broadcast page. We're actually broadcasting and streaming live right from that website as well. And then I've got some information about Bethany Christian Services and their website. So go out and visit the site and get more information about us. But thank you so much for joining. We've been talking about how Bethany is bringing and keeping families together. And I love that slogan about what you all are doing. And there were some questions. Let's go back over. And I think one of the questions,
right.
And we talked about how people can get involved and included in her mission. And I love the fact that, Tanya, you said, you all don't look for just a check. You look for people who are connected to your mission and vision and who want to stay connected and help in any way become a part of the Bethany family, because we know there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Oftentimes when we see children that are maybe foster children, they have this stigma. Oh, they're a foster child. They're a foster child. They're baby's kids, and that they're bad kids. And I love that you said this, the child may have baggage, but it's the baggage that was put on them. And when you have a heart for children and you really understand, because it could have been any of us. I mean, look how many people that now who have made it talk about even their past and the things that they've had to go through. Right. If we had counted some of these people out, that we all well-known people in the media or athletes, if we had counted them out, what would the world be without their input? So the gift is a gift is a gift. How it's packaged may be different from the next gift, but it's still a gift. But what we do with that child, how we can bring that child into a loving home. And Tanya said it doesn't have to be a perfect home either. You have to be perfect parents, but they are going to background check you, by the way. So make sure that's clear.
Like the president.
Yeah, I just had earlier this morning, I had somebody come by, was doing a background check on a friend of mine. And it was like, ooh, I have to think about those answers that I give, because that's a very serious thing.
Yes, you do now. I tell people all the time when they come into our training, be very, very mindful of the names of the individuals that you give for your reference checks. You'll be surprised to know that some families have been blindsided by some information that has been shared, and it's confidential about their reference checks. So just be clear on the individual.
Even for regular jobs, you should be clear about that as well. Now, Tanya, we're halfway through, and if people have just jumped on, but maybe they have to get back to work or to go, I want to go ahead and put the flyer up about November the 13th, your anniversary. And so you can go ahead and share a little bit about that. I'm going to go ahead and put that information up on the screen as well.
Well, definitely another way that you could support is definitely we have a banquet that we do every year. And this year is actually our 35th anniversary of our banquets. And it's November the 13th. And just to give a little history, Bethany Christian Services has actually been in existence for 70 years. And we are actually in 40 states with over 118 locations and in 15 countries. So we are actually the largest Christian adoption agency in the nation. And so we are very proud of that. And so here in Maryland, we've been here for 35 years formally, and we're having our annual banquet, which is November the 13th, and it'll be held at one of our new partners, which is Turf Valley in Ellicott City. And the address is 2700 Turf Valley Road, Ellicott City. And we're so excited of our new partners. They actually started with us last year. And so it's a beautiful site. And this is a way for us to give back to the community for supporting Bethany, for supporting our clients, and supporting the mission and the vision. So as you heard Chris say, it is free. Let's say that again. It is free to attend this wonderful banquet. We have a reception time from 6 to 7 and a beautiful program where you're actually going to hear from actual birth moms tell their story and to why and how they were led to Bethany, how they led to this choice, and how God has changed their lives. And you'll also hear from one of our families that has done a special needs adoption, which we do a lot of as well. So really want to put that out there. So I'm going to say it again because they're say it again over here.
You are good, Tanya. You got this social media down. I didn't even have to ask you. You already got it.
I love this. I'm loving this. So we are doing the event is actually November the 13th. Reception time is from 6 to 7. You can still RSVP for the event up until the end of next week. We have to give final counts soon. It's an event where it is an anniversary of a celebration of the year that God has allowed us to impact lives in our community. You'll hear from birth moms telling their story from their walk, because no one can tell it better than them. They walk that journey. They're still walking this journey, and they always will be, because God is always ever changing us. And so it's important to be able to hear it from them. You'll also be able to hear from a special needs family, and then you'll hear from me, where I will talk about the vision and mission of what God's purpose is for us. And the theme of the event is being radical for Christ, thinking outside the box, being able to plant a seed so that you can harvest later. And so really being able to stop thinking of self and start thinking of others, and being able to do just that by planting a seed. So let me say it is an ask event. So it's a fundraiser. So we do an ask at the end of the event, because this is how we sustain. This is how we keep the doors open so that we can be here for our community. This is how we continue to partner with businesses and with churches and with individuals, because that's exactly what we do. We create new services, and for us to do that, we need support. And so that is what it will be, as an ask event. And again, you can still RSVP, and you can call 301. Sorry, about to give my cell phone number. You can call 410. Well, you can call me too, but you can call 410-721-2835, which is our office number. Again, 410-721-2835. And just say you're RSVPing for the event, or you can go online to www.bethany.org, and you can go in and look up Crofton, and you can actually RSVP through the system as well. So I really, really, really implore you, tweet this out, tell a little bird. I think that's what it is. Tell a little bird, put it out there, let people know that an agency like us exists. And we need to continue to exist and grow, because the needs of our community is ever changing and ever growing. And we need to be able to do that. And Chris, just one thing. I saw a question over there, and I wanted just to be able to answer it about same-sex couples.
Oh, okay.
Wanted to be able to answer that. Just really quickly, we are a faith-founded agency and a faith-based agency. And so it would be just the same as if a special needs child came to us that we had no experience in working with. I would send them to an agency that had experience working with them. For 70 years, we have based our experience and our work on our faith foundation. And so that's where our experience really is. However, we are a resource to any and everybody. So anyone who calls us and needs an agency or a reference to another agency, we can do just that as well. Again, we don't have any qualms about doing that at all, because we are a resource to the community.
I love that. I love that. So hopefully that it answered the question. I even missed the question over there, but hopefully that answered it. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. We're not finished yet, but you've been listening to Tanya Brown, the Executive Director of Bethany Christian Services, right there in Crofton, Maryland. And so we just,
that was
what they're talking about.
That was a great comment over there, Chris.
You are hosting next time. You got this, girl. Oh. All right. Well, I'm having.
I want to be on with Chris.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, I love introducing social media and different things to people because Tanya had no idea about Blab. We, worked with her assistant to get her on, and now she's just reading.
Oh my
She's
God.
all over the place. She's reading the screens. I get distracted, Tanya. Sometimes I can't even go over there and stay focused.
I could get distracted very easily.
Though. You're doing a great job. Well, we'll have a one-on-one training on Blab, and we'll grab Gail to come in and to talk about that as well. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, here with the Blab platform, it does allow people if they want to come in. Are you open if I open the seat? If anybody wanted to come in and just have a comment or share, ask a question? Is that okay with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so listen, the floor is open. I've got an open seat. If anybody wanted to come in and say hello or to ask a question, again, this is a safe platform. Even in what I do in my profession as a credit expert, I tell, as soon as I get on the phone with someone, I automatically say this is a judgment-free zone. So come in.
That's right.
So if you have a question, if you just want to say hello, maybe just want to support Bethany's mission in any way, I've opened up. Again, you don't have to, but I don't like to put people on the hot seat. And sometimes people aren't camera ready. They want to watch the Lab and listen. They don't want to get in front of the camera. But if you do, right, I'm going to leave that seat unlocked, and so you can come on and say hello to us as well. Tanya, one of the things I wanted to talk about, I know that Bethany obviously is much more broader than in Maryland. You're clearly operating, the office here. Okay. What do you see as far as statistics for adoption and foster? What is really the need here for families in Maryland? Uh-oh, I think Tanya got frozen. Oops. Tanya, you may have to refresh if you can hear me. Hey, Gail, let me know if you still see me. I think we may have, Tanya we got to have to bring her on. All right, we're going to bring Tanya back on. For those of you who've been watching, my name is Chris Bridges. I am the host here. And, it looks like Sevilla's coming in. Let me bring you in, Sevilla, and then we're going to wait for Tanya to get back on. I'm the host of Living on Top with Chris Bridges, and today I've got my guest, the Executive Director of Bethany Christian Services here in Maryland. And we lost Tanya, but I'm sure she's going to come right back on. But thank you for joining me, Miss Morgan. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Hold on a second. Did you have a question for Tanya? Let me see if she could try to get back in.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like we may have lost her. The beautiful thing about technology is sometimes it's technology. So
exactly.
I love Lab, but we'll see if we can get her back on. While I'm waiting for her to get on, though, let me go ahead. I would be remiss if I did not thank our sponsors for this broadcast. So while we're waiting on Tanya to jump back on, let me go ahead and thank our sponsors for the broadcast to help us to stay on the air. We'd like to introduce you guys to Sheehy Ford of Marlow Heights. And for those of you who've been watching this broadcast over the last year, recently I had to buy a car. I believe that you buy cars when you either can afford it with no problem or when you have to. And I got to a place where I had to. I had to trade in 2 cars that had engine problems. But I went on over there. The contact there is Miss Paula Caruso. Paula Caruso is a general manager, great supporters of ours. As a matter of fact, if you're in the DMV, I invite you to visit their store right there on Off Road in Branch Avenue. Visit their store this Saturday. They're having something called Trunk and Treat. It's basically a little trick or treat opportunity for kids to go out and get some candy right out of the trunk of a car, and they're going to have a great event. So thank you so much to Sheehy Ford of Marlow Heights. They are our premier sponsor of the broadcast. As well, my own company, Credit with Chris. I'm a sponsor of the broadcast. So if you want to talk with me or have any concerns about your credit as a certified credit expert, my mission is to impact generations, educating and empowering people to live their very best life with good credit. Going out to the website, creditwithchris.com. That's creditwithchris.com, and register for a no-cost, no-obligation assessment. It looks like Tanya's coming back in. Let's grab her back in. And thank you again for our sponsors for the broadcast. And Ms. Morgan, hold tight. We're going to get Tanya back in. So, and welcome to the show. Oops. Looks like the connection may be back out again. Tanya, I'm not sure if you can hear me. If you can hear me, though, try it again and come back in. I'm going to disengage to have you come back in. Try to come back in again, Tanya, if you can hear me. There we go. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to get her back on so we can make sure that we answer any questions we have. Hold on. Hey, she's trying to get back in? Okay, yeah, the egg is just going. I'll have her refresh and try again. Yeah. All right, you guys, we are live. This is real, and I'm going to get Tanya back on. Yep, have her come back in. We have a guest that wanted to say hello. Okay. Yep, I just did. Yep, I just accepted.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
But it's still not bringing her in, though. All right. Let's see what's going on. We're trying to get her in. We've refreshed and everything. We want to get her in. Well, Miss Morgan, tell us a little bit about who you are, and we'll wait to get Miss Brown back on.
I actually came into this blab because I saw Bethany, and I'm like, I wonder if that's the adoption agency. And I know I get a lot of emails from them because I had considered adoption at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still get their emails. So I wanted to just come in and see the face of Bethany.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
So just say hi. My platform is to speak to women who are childless, not by choice. So that's what I do.
Here she is.
Hi.
Yes, she's back. Hey, Tanya.
Hello.
Tanya, we have Miss Morgan, and she was just getting ready to say about how she popped in. She found this blab because she saw Bethany, and she was wondering, is that the same Bethany? So, Miss Morgan, go ahead and share your story with Tanya.
Please.
Well, hi, Tanya. Good morning. I actually still get emails from Bethany, and I guess I'm somehow connected because I had considered adoption at one time.
Right.
And so when I saw the blab and I saw Bethany, I wondered if it was the same adoption agency. I said, let me come in and see what the face of Bethany looks like. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful face.
Yeah, how nice.
I just wanted to come in and say hi. I did consider adoption at one point years ago. Things just didn't work out. And I actually now speak to women who are childless, not by choice. That's my platform. So the name of my platform is 21st Century Hannah. So that's what I do. So I still have a heart for, adoption and people who want to adopt and all the things that go, the emotion and all of that goes with adoption and childless, not by choice and all of that. So I just wanted to come in and say hi.
I love that. I have to tell you, and we have a lot of women and men that we have worked with that maybe adoption hasn't worked out. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that whatever God's path is for individuals is their path. Yeah. And we work with Sisters of Hannah with First Baptist Church of Glenarden.
Okay.
And I know Hannah's story very well.
Me too.
And I definitely love your platform. I actually was at Trinity College maybe about a year or two ago, and we had a young woman there who had a platform of childless, not by choice.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
so she spoke on the fact that was God, and she's much, much older in life now, but spoke on that journey that she had, taking infertility, tried adoption, international adoption, and nothing worked. And so she had actually gotten to the point where she realized that her purpose was a different purpose. And God's plan for her through that journey was to be able to speak on that. And that was very powerful. So I love that. I love your platform.
That is awesome. I'm glad to hear that other people are helping with the conversation, because I want to start the conversation. That's what I tell people. I want to start it and make it a regular part of our society's conversation instead of people looking the other way, not knowing what to say.
That is, and that's just about educating, because it's so much more to adoption than just adopting. Right. It's so much more to the story. It's so much more to the journey. And it doesn't always end in some happily ever after picture in somebody's mind that you have your 2.5 kids and you move on. Like, that's not always the journey that God puts you on. And sometimes that journey leads to being able to maybe be a voice for someone else who's going to walk that journey. And I think that's a very powerful message that you have. And I would love to connect with you and ensure that the women and men that we're working with as well know that there are others out there who are trying to start that conversation and bring that from the darkness into the light, just like adoption, and really to celebrate the fact that that's your journey.
It is. And thank you so much. That's awesome to hear. That's a great word of encouragement today. Today's been one of those crazy days.
And Ms. Morgan, thank you so much. This is why I love Blab, and it's just really about, and make sure you subscribe as well. It's really about just getting out there, and I love the fact that people can just jump in. You see something that says, hold on, this really piques my interest. I want to know, what are they talking about? Your answers, I mean, all of our answers really are out here, and it's just a matter of plugging in. So thank you so much for jumping in and sharing with us. And, God bless you on your mission. Keep doing it. Even if there were 5,000 people doing what you're doing, nobody can do it the way you do it.
Oh,
and so you will touch those that God has out there waiting for you. So you keep going on. And I love that story. And make sure that you two connected. I put the website link up for Bethany. Let me put that back into the feed again. And then Tanya's information,
please,
right out there as well. Absolutely. Put it back in the feed. And then you do the same, Miss Morgan. Put your information in the feed, because other people will want to stay connected to you as well.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Chris, you just really just made my day. It's like you don't know what you just said, but you just said something to me that I think God told you to say it to me, that completely just made my day. Even if it's 5,000 people out there talking about it, nobody can do it the way I can. I don't think you know what impact that was today.
Well, listen, this is it. When spirits are connected, because for real, when spirits are connected, that's what we do. I had the exact same situation yesterday at lunch with a friend of mine. I said something to her, and it was something that God had been speaking with her about. I just am honored for him to use me, and that's what we have to do. There's a lot of work to be done out in our community and in the world. And if we really just start, even if it's in just your street, just in your own house, really, a lot of us, we need to start in our own houses. If we start right here and then start working our way, you touch one, that one touch one, it can be very impactful. So yeah, stay encouraged and stay connected to me as well, so that we know, what you're doing out there. Okay, you guys, I got to get Tanya off the air. I know she would love to hang out with us on Blab all day long, but she got to go. I know
I'm going to get out as well. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate everybody. And, again, we're here every Tuesday. This is going to be the last segment at 11. We're going to be moving to 12 and hopefully be able to get those who can join. And then the replays of all of the Blabs, if you don't get a chance to continue to stay connected, you can always watch our replays going out to the website, livingontop.info. That's livingontop.info, and you can watch all of our replays. And then on the website as well is some information about Bethany, their website, and information about their anniversary celebration on November the 13th. I'm looking forward to attending, so I hope you guys can make it out as well. Tanya, we've got to go. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for connecting. You. And I look forward to seeing you in person and staying connected to Bethany. All right. So you guys, until we see each other on Blab or anywhere else, I want you to stay blessed and continue to live on top. Thank you all very much for being with me today. Bye-bye.